Hello. In this video, we will discuss several different ways to transfer individuals depending on their ability level. The three transfers that we'll be covering today are the log roll transfer, the squat pivot transfer, and the stand pivot transfer. Knowing how to safely transfer someone is important to prevent injury to both the person being transferred and the person performing the transfer. The type of transfer required depends on the ability of the person being transferred. It is important to consult your healthcare provider as well as attend in-person trainings before attempting to transfer someone. For individuals with Parkinson's, the progression of symptoms will likely be the determining factor of the type of transfer you use. As declines in voluntary movement occur, they are likely to require assistance sitting up or moving to another location. Using a rocking motion and counting can help the individual prepare for the transfer and help decrease the chance of freezing.
We will start with the log roll. This is used when individuals have difficulty sitting up when reclining in a lying position, such as when in bed or relaxing on the sofa. The first step is to make sure that the person being transferred is close enough to the edge so that when they roll onto their side, they will be able to comfortably get their feet to the floor. Next, the person being transferred brings their knees up, or the person transferring them can assist with that. The third step, you bring your arm across your body to the side you want to be transferred on. At this point, your transfer partner would put one hand on your shoulder and another at your knee to help you roll. It's important for transfer partners to block with their legs and steady with their hands to ensure that no one falls. The next step of the transfer can be done in two different ways, both of which will be shown here. This version of the transfer partner puts one hand under the shoulder and one on the knees and helps move them up in one fluid motion. Once they're at a seated position, it's important to make sure that they feel balanced and that their feet are directly on the floor. This version of the log roll transfer may be easier for individuals who are just starting out with transfers, though if the person you are transferring has any type of spinal cord precautions, this transfer is not advised. This version of the log roll transfer is the same for the first several steps as the previous one. I'd like to take this time to note that the person who is doing the transferring should lift with their knees and maintain a straight back while lifting. Here is where the transfer differs. First, the transfer partner will assist in bringing their legs down to the floor so their feet touch the ground. Next, they will put one hand under their shoulder and brace one on their hip, and then lift them up and bring them to a seated position. The squat pivot transfer can be used when individuals have decreased standing balance and are unable to support their own weight. The first step of this transfer is to ensure that the individual is sitting forward enough so that their feet are firmly on the floor. One way in which to assist them is to have them lean their body and shift their weight to one side, and then the opposite side you help bring forward. Keep alternating sides until they are close enough to the edge. This transfer is performed with a gait belt. If you do not know how to put a gait belt on, please see the video titled How to Put on a Gait Belt. Reach around the individual and grasp the gait belt firmly at their back. It is often helpful to count to 3 and rock with the individual to gain momentum. Be sure to maintain a flat back and lift with knees, moving your body as a unit with no twisting. Once the individual has been transferred, it may be necessary for them to shift back in the chair further. Use the same method you'd used at the beginning of the transfer by shifting their weight. Here is the same transfer as before, although performed with a wheelchair. There are some other factors you must consider when transferring to or from a wheelchair. First, check that the brakes are locked, and, if possible, lift up the armrest so it's easier to clear when you're transferring the individual. As before, you make sure that they're comfortable, you grab them by the gait belt, and you shift your body in one fluid motion. As before, you help them shift back if they need the assistance so that they rest comfortably at the back of the wheelchair seat. The stand pivot transfer is used with individuals who have more lower body strength and better standing balance. With this transfer, as before, you reach around and grasp them by the gait belt. With a rocking motion, bring them up to standing. Be sure they have their balance. And gradually make small steps so that they are backed up to the chair. Be sure that they can feel the chair behind them. And if the chair has arms, they can use those arms to help lower themselves down. Knowing the correct way to stand up using a walker is important to maintain your safety and balance. Some people incorrectly use their walkers as a means of support when they go into standing. This can be dangerous if the walker falls on top of them. What you need to do is engage the brakes, scoot to the edge of the surface you are trying to transfer from, use a rocking motion as a way of momentum, stand, reach for the walker, and then continue upright.